Have you ever read a hymnal? Well, probably not, right? If I put a hymnal in your hands, you would probably flip through for the songs you know and love, and you'd start singing them. Or even if you didn't sing them, the tune would come into your head. You would savor the ones you love and maybe look for new ones and maybe flip past some that just don't quite do it for you or aren't very familiar or engaging to you. Well, you're about to read a hymnal, so I want to prepare you as we go through this session of the Bible in 40 words. And the word this week is peace. And these psalms have the power to bring peace. So I hope you'll dive into them. We're going to read Psalms over 3 weeks so you can take your time. This study, the Bible in 40 words, sort of began last summer when my friend Danielle Knapp invited me into a Facebook group to read the Bible in 90 days. And she's a pastor, so it was people from her church, a lot of people I didn't know, some other pastors, and only a few of us stayed on the journey, and it was great to be able to discuss on Facebook what we were encountering, kind of like what we're doing here. So I stole the idea for us. And so I read really faithfully last summer and read really fast, 90 days instead of a year like we're doing. I read every word until I got to the Psalms. And I found I couldn't read the Psalms like I read the rest of the Bible. Normally when I've read through the Bible, we've read selected Psalms, and when I tried to read all of them, it was just too hard. I couldn't, because I found I wanted to stay in them and linger and spend time with one or another. The Psalms cover every emotion, every high and low. The Psalms are full of lament and sadness and anger and joy and elation, and just trying to read them like you've read everything else in the Bible is just impossible. So these few weeks, these 3 weeks are going to be different, and I want to invite you to shift a little bit as you enter Psalms. You're going to have to read a little bit differently, and if you feel like you haven't been keeping up, these are for you because it's a whole new way of reading. It's poetry. This is music, even though we've lost the tune to a lot of them. Maybe you'll have favorites in there. All of us do. I'm going to preach on Psalm 23 this week. The Lord is my shepherd, a favorite psalm, most familiar psalm of most people. And so what you're going to find in the Psalms is everything you've read up until now is going to show up in the Psalms. There's going to be Psalms about creation, Psalms about conflict and sadness and loss, Psalms of praise and joy, songs about festivals and kings. Basically, everything we've encountered up until now is going to show up again in a different way. The stories of the history of Israel show up in the Psalms. And so it's a different part of your brain that you're going to be using. And so I invite you to just read differently this time and just listen. Let the Psalms bring you peace. If something is really meaningful to you, just stop and write it down. Put it on a piece of paper somewhere where you can see it. Color it. You're going to begin with Psalm 1, which talks about how we're like a tree, and our roots soak up that goodness when we stay near to the river that is God. So that's my hope and prayer for you this week as you enter the Psalms. May you encounter God with whatever emotion you bring right now and tomorrow and the next day.